welcome to this week's episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. Today we have three-time Olympic athlete Dylan Carter. So Dylan, how did you get into swimming?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on. I got into swimming when I was around 12. A bunch of my friends were playing water polo, so we were playing water polo at a young age in primary school, and I tried out to make this Carifta team, under 14 team for water polo, and I didn't make the team. But I'd been doing all of this swimming, and the swim coach at Marlins came over to me and he said, "Look, you've been doing all this swimming for water polo, come over and try and make this developmental swim meet we have coming up in Guyana, and if you give me 4 months and you don't like it, you go straight back to water polo." And so, long story short, I went over for a couple of months and I found a bit of success there, and it was kind of one of those a door opens, a door closes kind of situations. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And how do you think being an athlete has influenced the person that you are or shaped your life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful to the sport of swimming. It's really made me who I am today. I think it's given me an education. I've traveled the world. I've made lifelong friendships and partnerships, and I don't think I would be the man I am today without it. And I think it's an incredible journey, and it really, really makes you grow as a person. The ups and downs and challenges of individual sport, especially, and I encourage. I mean, you know what it's like, sport and competing. But I encourage all youngsters to get into some sort of competitive sport, because I really think it builds you up in a way that nothing else can.
Totally agree. Yeah, and I think I could speak to that myself as well. Being an athlete, it totally shaped who I am. It made me a more confident person, a more determined person, a more resilient person. And as we speak about swimming specifically, we are an island. We are surrounded by water. We have a lot of water-based activities that happen in Trinidad, but we have a large amount of our population that don't know how to swim. And what do you think is some of the reasons why we have that problem in Trinidad, or some things that we could do to encourage people to learn how to swim?
Yeah, it's a very real problem, and we see it in the news, all the time. These tragic stories, and it's incredibly important. We're surrounded by water. We have beautiful waterfalls and rivers, and it's some of the most amazing things you can do in this country involve the water. And I think that as a citizen, you should be able to appreciate these things and to go and enjoy these things and feel safe.
Exactly.
I know the Ministry of Sport has done a great initiative, the April Pools initiative that I've been a part of for the past couple of years, teaching kids from underserved communities how to swim. I think it's so incredibly important. I can't say I really know why exactly it's such a problem. We've got lots of pools, we've got lots of access. So I think we just need to try a bit harder as a nation to get this done.
Yeah, maybe it's a lot of people aren't aware as well, or maybe there's this fear. So I encourage parents who might be watching, there are a lot of different programs. I'm hoping to begin a swimming program myself. So put your children in these programs. It's so important. It is a lifelong skill that they'll get. As Dylan would have mentioned, it's character building. It gives them community, all of these different things. It also could open up different opportunities for them, not just within sport, but we have a lot of economic activities in terms of boat tours, tourism, all these things that it could open up. And as we touch about swimming and the importance of our natural environment, do you think that being a swimmer has impacted or influenced in any way your awareness of the environment or your appreciation of the environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think being from the Caribbean, it makes you appreciate natural things a bit more than maybe if I grew up in New York City or something. So I've always been interested or appreciated my natural environment. It was my major in undergrad and university.
Oh, wow.
But I think swimming sort of ties into it, I mean, I grew up in the ocean as well. And then as I got more into sport, it also made me appreciate healthy living and how important it is to have a healthy environment around you that impacts who you are as a person, your health, the health of your family, the health of your community is impacted by the air you breathe, the water you drink, the foods you eat that are grown on the land that you live on.
Yeah.
So I think sport has made me appreciate my health, and my health has made me super aware of my environment. I don't know what you feel like with sport with you.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. So one, it's made me appreciate my environment more, especially as someone who plays football and track and field. These are sports that I always did outdoors. And I found that as it's gotten hotter, it influences when I can play sports.
Yeah.
And especially as a woman too, you know, as these times get pushed back later and later because I can no longer go outside when it's peak sunlight, that also affects my safety.
Yeah.
So all of these things I have to think about now, not just as an athlete, but also as a woman. So it's made me incredibly aware of the effects that climate change has on my way of life.
Yeah, you mentioned heat. You know, it's so funny because people think, oh, you're a swimmer, you know, you're in a cold pool, you know,
Yeah.
but it really has, and I've been complaining all month. I've been back here with my family saying the pool water these days is so hot for me.
Wow.
I can't, I swim at 3 o'clock and I'm like, I do a 30-minute workout and I'm just,
Wow.
it's so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to train later and later like you. It affects physical activity even in the water.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I definitely was one of those people that thought the pool was always
Yeah,
cold.
well, there you
So
go. Yeah, I'm cooking
learned something
too.
new. So you recently came back from the Olympics. What has it been like to represent your country at such a high level?
Yeah, well, firstly, of course, it's an incredible honor. You know, I think the highlight for me this year had to have been carrying the flag down the River Seine. I think that was something that I remember watching as a boy, watching George carry the flag in Beijing and thinking that's such an awesome thing to do. And I never in a million years thought it would be me.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting the call a few days before, and when they asked me to do it, and I couldn't believe it. It was so incredible. And I think that sometimes when you're doing something for a long time, you can forget how amazing it is to represent, especially a small country up against these huge nations with multi-million-dollar budgets. You're like this little fish swimming upstream. You know, it's incredible. And I look forward to seeing you, you know, out there too, handing over the flag. You know?
Thank you. You talked about how you looked up to George, and that was something that you always wanted to do. And they have so many children who'll be looking up to you. And it's something that I feel as well an immense amount of honor and pride. I wear this necklace that I've worn for many years now because of how much I appreciate and I love my country. And I just can't wait to be able to showcase how incredible our little island is, how mighty we are, how special our people are, and to inspire all the other young girls who might be looking up to me and saying, you know, I wonder if that will ever be me. I wonder if I can ever do this, or if I'll ever accomplish all of my dreams. And I hope to say to them, you know, you can. I once was that little girl as well. Dylan was once that little boy. And we are living truth that you can accomplish whatever it is you put your mind to.
It's one of the biggest things that drives me nowadays is, I mean, more than wanting to win some medal or anything like that. I genuinely think about, I've got to do this to show everybody, all these kids, that you can do it, you know, because I remember watching again George do it and saying, I can do it, you know, because he did it.
Exactly.
So now if I'm that guy, I feel it all the time. I've got to do it so they know that they can do it, or else
well, who's going to tell them? Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was really powerful. That was really powerful. Going back to the Olympics, I noticed that they implemented a lot of sustainable initiatives this year. What was your experience like?
Yeah, they've been trying to do that progressively over the past few series of the games. So in Tokyo, they brought in the cardboard beds, which I thought was perfectly fine. You know, you can't tell, when you're on it, you can't tell that it's cardboard. At least for me, I like to sleep on a firm bed. The challenge, I think the biggest challenge this year was there was no ACs for the athletes.
Right.
And you grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up with a blasting AC. I don't know about you. I grew up with a blasting. My dad sleeps with no AC.
I'm
He's
like
from
your
that
dad.
generation.
Yeah, I don't sleep with AC.
You're a beast. I don't know how you do it. I grew up with a blasting AC. So it was a challenge for me in Paris. I ended up buying an AC for myself.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was a bit of a shame because we prepare for our lives for this, and to go there and to have less than ideal situation. I understand the environmental initiative, but I think that we have to find a way that can meet both of these somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's really an interesting perspective because there was a lot of support for all of these sustainable initiatives, but it seems like the impact on the athletes was sort of left behind. So it's important when we implement these initiatives, we think of all parties, we think of all impacts so that we don't have negative outcomes, that we actually achieve what it is we seek out to do. Because, in the next Olympics, maybe they'll be second guessing whether or not they want to implement these eco-friendly initiatives. So like you said, it's a very real example of how these things can sometimes maybe go slightly wrong, and the amount of thoughts that needs to go into it. But we learn from the mistakes that we make.
Exactly. We have to try these things and make mistakes, and at the end of the day, they're trying to make the progress. I think the qualms of the athletes are always complaining at the Olympics. Oh, this thing is not even about us. This is just about TV.
Yeah.
So for us, we were a little bit, grouchy about it. But we understand. I think personally we understand why they're trying to do it. So. Yeah.
Well, we learn and we grow. So bringing that home, we've seen the challenges that they've faced with trying to introduce sustainability into sports. But I think that that's something that we could learn from and we could begin to implement here in Trinidad and maybe even be pioneers of that. My project, The Ripple Effect, that's what it's all about. It's all about promoting sustainability through sports. And there are very small ways that we can do that. Something simple as introducing trees into our sporting facilities. Trees remove carbon dioxide from the environment. They also help to cool the area, and it makes spaces that more people want to use. You get more people playing sports, more people aware of the environment now because they're outside, they're experiencing it. It becomes more real to them as well. And that has that knock-on effect. As we talked about, sport makes you care a bit more about your diet, about your health, about your overall well-being.
Yeah, I think I saw you on Instagram chatting about a green city or green Port of Spain. And the more green or healthy your environment is, the more you feel to get outside, right?
Exactly.
So if we had more spaces where we felt that we can go to within our city suburbs that feel green, that feel healthy, then our whole population would be healthier as a whole. You would see our obesity cases drop if we had that third space, outside of your office place or your home, where you can feel like, oh, I can go down the street and go for a run or walk my dog or go for a swim in my local pool or something like that. Also, I don't know what you think about this, but it's a cultural thing as well, right? It's bringing sport and sustainability into the culture, in order to make a lasting change. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, 100%. A part of sustainability as well is building sustainable communities. And I think that's something that sport does extremely well. For me, my personal experience, sport is how my family connects. A lot of us are athletes. It's our favorite thing to do after school or work is to just go outside and sweat. And that's how my Santa Cruz community comes together as well. It's how I met a lot of other people in my community. It's on Sunday. We played football together, or our community sports day. These kinds of things. It's what really brings people together. It's what empowers people. It's what gives people hope as well. Sport is a place where you can forget everything else. You can forget your troubles, your worries, and after that kind of experience, it gives you a sense of optimism and belief that tomorrow is a better day. So
yeah, I think that what you said there is so profound. It's what I look forward to at the end of the day. I know my family is the same way. My parents come home from work and they immediately, my mother's a runner, my father's a cyclist, so they immediately get out and they work very hard. So they immediately get out there and get on the bike or get on the road, and it sort of clears their head. But I really support your goals, and I think you have awesome initiative and that I can get behind, and I hope you succeed in all the things you set out to do, and wish you all the best in this upcoming year with everything, and can't wait to see you out there flying the flag.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming here today. This was wonderful. I think our viewers learned a lot about the importance of sports and how it has influenced your life and your character, and how it can also shape our nation and influence our way of life and build our communities, teach us how to live better and eat better. I mean, the impacts and the power of sport are just endless and so profound. So thank you again for coming here today.
Yeah, for a healthier TNT, that's what we're here for. Yeah.